Good morning, everyone. And this is the second of the series called Miracle Babies on Cloudnine. We have started this series purely for the benefit of the parents and the general public to raise awareness about important issues in babies and their health. And I sincerely thank Devapriya and Chiranjeev for having joined us this morning to share their experiences so that it will be beneficial to more number of parents who will go through their sort of story. Welcome, Chiranjeev and Devapriya. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thanks,
The first and foremost question most parents will ask as soon as their baby is born, is this baby normal? And I think that is a question which a lot of parents ask, having gone through multiple tests and 9 months of pregnancy and various scans. And the answer to that is most parents hear the answer, yes, the baby is normal. Now, I want to raise awareness about specific issues today, so that will become obvious of what we are talking about later as we talk. First and foremost is India is a huge country, and it is like Europe being a single country. So you can imagine the number of variations in the genetic structure of people from one state to the other state, and various cultures and other things. So we have a definitely huge population of 1.3 billion population, and not everybody can be having the same genetic population. Now let us look at the worldwide or the WHO classification of causes of deaths in the children under the age of 5 years. If you look at the latest available data from WHO, Indian data shows that more than 9 million children under 5 years of age die every year. And in this under 5 years of age, sepsis accounts for almost 6% of deaths in India. Now, if you look at babies under 1 month of age, and in this 5 year children, 41% are babies under 1 month of age. If you go to see the children who are under 5 years, the neonatal deaths account for almost 54% of deaths. In 54% of deaths, majority are said to be dying of sepsis. Now, if this classification is correct, there is something wrong with our country. Number one, we are losing almost 50% of babies due to infection, or we call it as sepsis, which means our sepsis rates are almost much higher than African continent. Or we think the classification of these diseases is something wrong. Now, if you look at the best and worst places for newborns, Kerala stands number one with 6 babies out of every 1,000 babies dying due to various problems. And Karnataka stands somewhere, it's not very good, but it is at least better than a lot of other states like Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Assam, Jharkhand. But we have about 28 babies out of 1,000 live births losing in the first month of life. This, if you look at in comparison with many European countries, they lose about 4 to 5 babies out of 1,000 babies in the first month of life. The progress of neonatal mortality rate till 2018 has been reasonable, but we can definitely do better. We keep comparing India to Silicon Valley in California and USA and various things. But when it comes to sepsis, we seem to be comparing our country to countries like Africa. With this background, I want to ask Chiranjeev and Devapriya. Chiranjeev and Devapriya, please tell me about your background and what is your education, and when did you get married, and how long did you get a plan for the baby?
Yeah, hello, sir. First of all, like heartfelt thanks to you for giving us this opportunity, and we are always, like a step forward to share our experience, so that the awareness comes to other parents in for this, for this disease. So we both are from West Bengal, Kolkata, and I did my masters in biotech, and now I am in a leading CRO company. And
I did my BTech from NIT Warangal and MTech from IIT Roorkee. After that, I was with a company called EMC Square. Now started one startup. I mean, I was involved with one startup.
Brilliant. So you both were well educated and typical, the what we call as a generation X or generation Y, whichever you want to classify. And how long did you know each other before you got married and planned to have a baby?
we knew each other 2 years, and after that, our families, decided to, get us married and settle down. So before we had baby, we were married for 1.5 years, and we are from the beginning we were settled in Bangalore. So yeah, we were like 1.5 years after
Okay.
we planned a baby
Okay.
the first
When
time.
you planned for a baby, did you have any concerns, or did you have any family history of diseases which you should be worried or anything like that?
No,
No.
from my side or from Chiranjeev's side, we haven't heard of any such diseases, because we have a family history of, doctors. My uncles, my brothers, they are all doctors. And I asked, after the incident happened, I asked them that if we had any this kind of, incident before, but we haven't had any such issues. So we were
Okay.
not at all aware of this
Okay.
thing.
Tell us about your first pregnancy in your own words, Devapriya. Where did you deliver, and how was your pregnancy for the 9 months, and what happened after delivery, and what did you do?
Yeah, first pregnancy, I conceived, normally, and that time I was in Bangalore. So it was a very normal thing. My BP, my sugar level, everything was normal. All the blood tests, everything was normal. So I went to Kolkata to deliver, because I haven't had any family members here. So for some support, like my parents are there, my in-laws are there. So I went to Kolkata for my delivery. In 5th month, I went there and I stayed there, and I had, my consultations with a Kolkata doctor, very renowned doctor, and there also all my, blood tests, every reports were normal. And I delivered after 8.5 months, because I had some, um, my dehydration. I was dehydrated at that time. It was very hot and humid weather in Kolkata. So everything went normal, and it was a C-section. And I delivered in a renowned South Calcutta nursing home. It's a very renowned and famous nursing home with all the modern amenities and everything. And I delivered a baby boy.
Wow, congratulations. So, what happened after the delivery?
Delivery, after delivery, it was everything was normal. All the family members was were very happy, and the baby was quite normal with 3.4 kgs of weight, and all the reports and you know values, whatever the doctor says, all are normal. And I was about to get discharged on the third day, because I was showing good signs of I can get discharged. But on the third day, suddenly the baby was, like uh, like the he had some breathing problem, and he rushed to an ICU. He was rushed to an ICU, and that time we were clueless like what has happened, because till then everything was normal, and doctors were examining every hourly or something like that. So suddenly he got this, respiratory distress, and he was on an ICU. And after that, after 1 day of battle, we lost him, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry. So your baby was born normal but developed breathing problems on second day and transferred to NICU, and
On the
rapidly
third day, yes,
the third day
yes.
rapidly progressed to the death. And what was the diagnosis at that time? What did they say? What the doctors say about it?
the doctor said suddenly he got choked, they got some milk in when they x-rayed the baby, and due to breathing problem, like this thing happened. But it was not written in the prescriptions or whatever discharge summary, but the doctors were discussing about metabolic disorder that time, which I have heard, but we haven't had any clue about the disease. And no measures were taken, to revive the baby, like checking the ammonia levels or checking doing the newborn screening. All these things were not done. So what I have seen in Dhruvika's case, what has been done in Cloudnine, all these things were not done, but only they were discussing it might be a metabolic disorder, but it was not mentioned in the discharge summary.
Okay. So, how did you cope after that? Did you get any counseling after the birth, or did you plan for the second pregnancy? And what was the gap between your first child being born and the second pregnancy happening? And how did you cope with the uncertainty? Did you have the fear whether this can happen again? What happened?
Exactly.
Please tell us, your words.
Definitely. So after, we were very young couple that time, and after losing the baby, I was like, our whole world was shattered. So that time I haven't planned anything, and we came back to Kolkata, Bangalore, and I started my job with my job and like taking care of my health, because that time we were clueless about what has happened and what could happen again. So we were literally clueless. After 1.5 and 2 years, we thought of getting getting conceived and have a baby, and our families also wanted us to do the same. So I went to Dr. Pratima Reddy, gynecologist, and when she had this, I told her the whole story and what has happened earlier. I show her the results, reports, everything. So she told me like to take care of my health, and if I'm getting conceived, after that she will be like counseling with leading doctors and neonatologists, child specialists, and all. So after that, when I conceived and I came to Cloudnine, of course our first preference was Cloudnine, and I came there and I was seeing Dr. Pratima Reddy. So she monitored everything, and she was very like cautious from the day one, and everything went normal. All the results, test reports, everything was normal, and it was a normal pregnancy. And I delivered on that exact time, but as the baby was in breech position, I had a C-section. Second time I had a C-section. So after that, you all know, because Pratima Reddy has consulted you, and after that you intervened, and luckily uh, we haven't seen God, but yeah, human like Dr. Kishore, they are here to save like families like us, and everything, after that it was on your hand. And like I had my daughter Dhruvika. She was also normal and a very cute, plumpy baby, healthy baby. And delivered on 8th of February 2013 in Cloudnine. After that, Dhruvika also haven't had any symptoms, if you remember, sir. She was also fully normal, but because of the background history and all, Dr. Kishore and the team was very cautious, and they did the testing, testing and screening. And for this screening, I must say, because of this screening, we could save our baby, because we were extra cautious, and we could take measures to like what could happen and what should be the treatment. So on the third day, I think we had the results, and we got the news from Dr. Kishore that my daughter Dhruvika, she is having citrullinemia. So as a biotic student, I know the structure of citrulline, but having it in for my newborn kid, it's very distressing. And again, I was shattered, but Dr. Kishore has given us immense strength, and he like helped us a lot. And like thanks to Cloudnine, because she had proper treatments from the, like immediately she was taken to an ICU, and she was being like she was out of the formula, because in citrullinemia the baby cannot digest protein, and because of that they develop higher ammonia levels in the blood, and all the like reaction happens. So she
So,
was
Devapriya, sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
It may be difficult for a common person to understand.
Yes,
And
exactly.
maybe in a common language, Chiranjeev can tell, or you can
Yes,
tell.
exactly.
So your baby was completely normal at birth, and if you started giving milk feeds, the milk contains carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So in your baby, we tested the intolerance to either carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So citrulline is one of the amino acid which is part of the protein.
Yes.
So basically, the baby has no capacity to digest the protein from the breast milk alone. So the baby gets sick after 2 or 3 days. So if we had not tested and stopped the milk feeds, what would have happened in your own words? Um, do you think it would have repeated the first child problems, or what would have happened for the benefit of the common public?
So the benefit of the common people, yeah. So I can say that if we feed, if we won't stop the feed, it will increase the ammonia level. So ammonia level, if it got increased, so it can harm for the kid. So I mean the brain damage,
Acidosis
yeah.
and brain.
So brain damage or anything can happen. I mean the brain death or anything can happen. Those kind of things can happen.
So in your baby Dhruvika at 24 hours of age, ammonia levels was 340. Normal levels should be less than 50. So clearly suggesting that the baby had a problem with the digestion of a protein. And that's when we did the tests. So being a biotechnology engineer, Devapriya, what was going through your mind with ammonia of 340 and baby looking well? What anxiety or what was your thinking when we asked you to stop breastfeeds?
Uh, I was fully shattered. I can tell. Like Dr. Kishore has, he came to my room and he told me like, don't give up hope. This is the result, and you should be very strong. And that time I was alone in the room, and my daughter was in the NICU. So in the biotech terms, or biochemistry things, I could imagine what could happen. So it's a pain for me because I know this all, and for a normal human being like Chiranjeev, like they don't know about all these things. So it's like better not knowing, I would rather say. But I would say like this knowledge has helped me in understanding the things and the procedures and whatever measures you took. So yeah, like from the very beginning, I would say like Cloudnine has taken proper measures and proper treatments. The first thing, when I had my first pregnancy, whatever I told you, like we were clueless about what has happened. So if you are not sure that what has happened, you don't know like from where you can go and where to have the treatments, what treatments you should have, what helps you can have. So this time we were clear about the disease and what can happen. So that time I was googling out citrullinemia and urea cycle disorder, everything. And everything Dr. Kishore has provided us everything, starting from the like non-protein formulas and everything. And we got many people's number who are into this citrullinemia group worldwide. So it has helped a lot. Being clear about the picture, it helps us to focus on the like treatment, and focus on the like solution what we can have. And we were desperate of saving Dhruvika, and yeah, luckily she got saved, and she was in good hands, I must say.
So, Chiranjeev and Devapriya, tell me what made you to go for the liver transplantation, and what is your message for the parents? Message we can come to the end, but let me.
Yeah. So what made you go transplantation? Yeah. Before I can say that, so this disease was there. So at that time, I just emailed to a lot of a lot of friends in US and all. So they are having a lot of contacts in the. I mean the doctors who are dealing with kind of transplantation and all. So I got a lot of response from the doctor. Somebody saying don't do. Somebody saying do. It's up to you, choice. And then we discussed with you also, and you said yes, it is good.
Because there is no other options other than like whole life you cannot give the ammonia scavenging medicines and protein free things, and it has got other other disadvantages on the body. It affects a lot. Brain retardation happens, many things, many bad things. So as liver transplantation was the only option, and we had we were always in contact with Dr. Kishore, and we were visiting him, and we had proper vaccination, everything. And after that we thought of having liver transplantation. So it was happening in Gurgaon, Medanta, the Medicity. And yeah, at 8 months of age we had her liver transplantation done, and my mom, she donated her liver. And by God's grace both are doing very good now.
Yeah.
Like
No,
now
it's a
Dhruvika is
miracle.
9 years.
It's a miracle because number one, you saved the Dhruvika from birth, and then your mom saved her at 8 months of age with the liver transplantation. So we have a lot of message need to be conveyed to the general public. When any parent asks whether the baby is normal, most pediatricians examine the baby clinically, but they forget that biochemically, enzymatically, metabolically, cardiologically, baby may or may not be normal. That's where the limitations of the clinical medicine comes, and that's where the tests need to happen for all the babies. And this is a standard test all over the world for the last 6 decades. It's not like it's last 6 years or last 5 years. Unfortunately, India is one of the only 6 countries among 192 countries where these tests are not done routinely and the awareness is not much there. So it's newborn screening. Why should it be mandatory? Because of the stories like Dhruvika and Deepapriya and Chiranjeev. It is a screening test done to detect potential health disorders or diseases that can have symptoms later, as early as 2 days, sometimes later than that. And early detection, as you can see, will save the lives and make families have a better future. The criteria for newborn screening was put forward by Wilson and Jungner in 1968, which means that it's more than 5 decades since this test has been available and it has been proven beyond doubt. Unfortunately, as I said, India is one of the few countries where it's not empowered every pregnancy or childbirth, and it is one of the best evidence-based medicines with more than 5 decades of evidence saving lives. And certainly we have a lot of things which are being done in India, like ultrasound for every pregnancy we do all sorts of tests during pregnancy. For some reason we have a stepmotherly attitude for the newborn screening in India, and I think stories like Debapriya's and Chiranjeev should make it mandatory in India sooner than later. And Robert Guthrie was a pediatrician who died happily because he was the one who actually invented or discovered the Guthrie test, and that's why it's named after him, called Guthrie test. But the Guthrie test has expanded to include multiple diseases now. It is done with a simple heel prick test, taking 4 drops of blood on a filter paper, and this can be done in any corner of the world, including in Mount Everest or in Arctic or Atlantic or wherever the baby is born, because you don't need anything other than the filter paper and a drop of blood, which is soaked on a filter paper after 36 hours of age and sent to a lab. And the blood spot, if it's done at birth, you will get the results within 24 hours after birth, after sending it to the lab, which is the nearest lab. And as long as you have a reliable courier, reliable lab, you get a diagnosis, then you can act on that and we can save babies. Unfortunately, the eyes don't see what the mind doesn't know. Many pediatricians are reluctant to admit that these sort of babies are born. Many parents don't know about this, and the combination of the two, we do lose babies, and they are classified as sepsis, as happened to Debapriya and Chiranjeev with their first baby. And if you look at the incidence, the past president of IAP, Dr. Anupam Sachdeva, wrote in 2017 in the journal that nearly 74,000 babies are born every day in India. Approximately 74 babies are born every day with inborn errors or metabolism. So you can imagine if 74 babies are born every day and they are not being diagnosed, why our babies are being classified as sepsis. And that is the reason our statistics of sepsis is same as Africa. And in Cloudnine, we have delivered more than 110,000 babies so far. We would have given more than 200 babies with the congenital hypothyroidism to the community, which means that the babies would have become idiots by 6 weeks of age had we not done the screening. And we would have lost more than 682 babies. Now, if you look at it, everybody may say, well, this is a drop in the ocean. But the 682 families would have gone through grief and loss of life unnecessarily without any good reason, and they would have been classified as sepsis. So saving 682 babies out of 110,000 babies born in Cloudnine gives us professional satisfaction in a big way. And that's why we insist on newborn screening, because they can save lives, and early treatment leads to better outcome, as we have seen with Dhruvika, who is currently a happy-go-lucky 9-year-old girl. And we definitely need to do the newborn screening till we have 3D printing of programmed babies in few decades from now. Then we don't have to do the newborn screening. With that, I sincerely thank both Chiranjeev and Devapriya for having given their time. Now I want a brief comment from them as to what is the message they want to give it to the community, and also their message to the government of India or any authorities who are listening to this talk. Back to you, Devapriya and Chiranjeev. What do you want to convey?
Yeah, for government of India or any higher authorities, we will be requesting with folded hands that this test should be made mandatory. And newborn screening not only saves lives, it gives a positive positive thinking and positivity to the whole family. And that distress what we have went through, we don't want any parent to have like this kind of distress and pain. So this newborn screening should be made mandatory. And if 4 drops of blood from the heel, only from the heel prick, not at all like drawing the blood from injection and all, is saving a life, you should go. Every parent should be, they should be enthusiastic enough to go for this test, and they should also opt and vote for the test. So this is our appeal and request to all the parents and all the higher authorities, doctors, nursing homes, hospitals, everything.
Thank you, Devapriya, and
so
thank you, Chiranjeev. Is Dhruvika there? She's 9 and she had her birthday recently.
Yes, yeah.
So let us wish her. Hi Dhruvika, happy 9th birthday, belated birthday for you.
Thank you.
No, so nice to see you. Thank you again, and
thank you so much.
Happy New Year, and have a bright future for Dhruvika. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you.